In this video, we're teaching you how to fold 3 epic paper airplanes designed by John, the paper airplane guy Collins, who held the world record for paper airplane distance for over 10 years. Here's that world record throw. Joe Ayoub threw John Collins' paper airplane over 226 feet. I mean, look at this thing fly. Now, it flies so well because John Collins has an excellent understanding of aerodynamics, which he applies not only to this plane, but to all of the paper airplanes he designs, including the ones we're folding today. In this video, we're teaching you how to fold the Phoenix, which is a really simple glider, very easy to fold, flies beautifully, and was actually the inspiration for the world record paper airplane. The Stealth Dart, which you can see has much smaller wings, flies quite a lot faster, but is still really easy to fold and looks absolutely epic. And then we have Canardo, which is a new design from John Collins, isn't published anywhere else. If you want to learn how to fold this plane, this video is literally the only place you can do it. So I'm really excited to share these with you today. And actually, John Collins himself will be teaching you how to fold them. So let's get into it.
With the short side up, we're going to do a couple of diagonal folds here. So we're going to take the top and line it up with the side. That's a diagonal fold. So we're going to make diagonal folds both directions here. And there goes one. I'm going to unfold that. And then go this way. Sweep down like that. Crispy diagonal folds. Open that up. Now we're going to take this outside edge and just lay it right next to that diagonal fold. And don't cover it, just right next to it, so you can still kind of see it. You want to be able to make a nice accurate reference there. And then we're going to do the same thing to this side, only if you take this point and put it right at the end of this crease right here, things come out pretty well for you. So just move that point over, put it right at the end of that crease. And you should still be able to see that diagonal fold on this side as well. And this might look familiar. If you've ever done the world record plane, this is exactly how you start that. Only on the world record plane, we go right through the center of the X. And on this plane, we just follow this crease right there, bring that down, and then we get ready to fold it in half. So let's flip it over, and we're going to rotate it. And then we're just going to make a crease that goes right straight down the center line here. And always try to get the rear corners lined up, front corners lined up. These middle corners might be a little bit off depending on how accurate your diagonal folds are. The middle corners here. Try to really nail this. This is the most important one. Now we're just going to take this front edge straight down to the center line. Flip it over. Do the same thing to this side. This is a really easy plane to fold. And you get so much great performance, like you saw in the flight video, inside or outside. Just a really fun plane to fly, and folding not that difficult. Now we're going to do a little locking fold here. So open up the center crease, and we're just going to take this little flap here and just pop it up on top of those two corners we just folded down. And it's okay if you get a little wrinkle right there. Don't worry about that. And then just remake that center crease. Okay, we're getting ready to make the wings. And we're going to start very close to the nose, and we're going to roll this over, and we're going to keep an eye on this edge here. And when it just touches that corner, this top edge, when it just touches that corner, that's where you're going to make the wing crease. So here we go, rolling over, keeping an eye on this edge here. And we're just going to let that just touch that rear corner and then make the crease. You can kind of see it underneath there. If you have a nice black background here, you can see it just touching underneath there. Just bring that edge right to the corner there. All right, we're going to flip it over. Do the same thing to the other side. And this plane is just about finished. You're going to make some minimal adjustments here. Just you're going to crank in a little bit of positive dihedral. Make sure that your locking fold gets up there where your wings are. A little bit of positive dihedral. Going to crank in a little bit of up elevator, and you are ready to fly the Phoenix. Easy to fold, fun to fly. Have a good time outside with that one. Let's get going on the folding of the Stealth Dart, and we'll start by folding this piece of paper in half, just like that. These corners go. This is like old school, classic dart paper airplane making. We're going to fold these corners down here one at a time. This is like the classic dart, the Nakamura lock, all kind of starts with this sequence, that center crease, and then folding those corners over. That going. Okay, we're going to open up the center crease in such a way that puts these two little flaps on top. And then we're going to take this point and go right to the other end of that center crease. Here we go. All the way down. Boom. Now let's take the point back up to the center crease on top. And we're just going to follow this edge and follow this edge right here. We're just bringing these corners down, the top two corners, just going to bring them down toward that center crease as well. Nothing fancy so far. Whoops. Trying to keep those corners together there. Let that slip and slide a little bit on me. Controlling layers, it's always an issue. All right, so what we're going to do now is tuck these corners under this edge right here. And the easy way to do that is to just make a little tick mark where that edge meets this edge, where this horizontal edge meets the edge of our flap here. And then you're just going to make a fold that follows from the tick mark down to this corner here. So just going to wrap that around there so it's just a little bit easier for me to see. Whoop, flatten that out so I can hit it more accurately. And go down to this corner here, right there. Okay. And once I have that crease made, I'm just moving this whole flap over, opening that up just a little bit so I can slide it right underneath there. And that'll keep this guy locked together nicely. All those, the wing weighting, wing stiffening stuff is all going to be nice and locked together there because that's slid underneath. All right, let's do this side. Again, just make a little mark there where it's the crease is going to go. Open it up. Just spin it a little bit to make folding easier for me. All the way down to where the end of that crease is there. All right. Looks like it's in the right place. Let's find out. I'm going to move that over, tuck that underneath. Yeah, that came up pretty nicely. All right. We're in pretty good shape here. We're going to flip it over, and we're just going to follow the center crease on this guy. Spin it so the nose is pointed left, follow the center crease. And I'm going to make about a thumb width here. I'll give you a measurement in a second, but just making a crease straight down and so that it's parallel with the center crease. I'm just bending over a big bunch of wing. And like I said, I'll give you a measurement pretty quick. It feels like it's about 2 centimeters or so. Yeah, pretty close. It's 18 millimeters on this particular one, so 18 to 20 millimeters. Do you good. Flip it over, make this one match. And we're going to do kind of fancy winglets here. I like the way the winglets look on this one. I was just in a strange mood designing this plane. So we're going to make this about the same size as the fuselage. It's probably, 17 to 20 millimeters tall here. Don't need to measure it. Just make it roughly the same size as the body of the plane. A little bit smaller if you want. Now I'm going to make a crease that goes from the corner, the front corner, to the rear corner of this top layer. So here we go. Just moving that guy over and down. I'm going right straight across the diagonal. And that's just going to give it a great look. And this thing needs a lot of up elevator, and this provides a little bit of that as well. Flipping this over. Doing the same thing to this side. And then one more crazy fold. Now I didn't want a corner back here. I wanted a smoother edge back here. So what I'm doing is a partial fold. Just this thick part is going to get folded. So I'm moving it up just so I can see the body of the plane here, the fuselage, the body of the plane, and I'm just creasing this thick part here. It doesn't go all the way back. It stops right at the layering right there. And so we'll do the same thing on this side. And I like to just hold it together here and making sure that the other side matches very closely. And so this is one way to do it. Hold it like this so that the wings stay together and just get a matching fold going there. And so a couple of things you can do to make this guy fly better. I'm going to bend up the leading edge right there a little bit. It's really useful if you're using US letter size. You might not need so much of this with A4. It's one of the good things about using A4. You won't need a lot of this right here. And then some up elevator, outboard up elevator, because you got these curves going here. Outboard up elevator right there. But there you go. Flies really well outdoors, as you saw from the video, and not too shabby indoors. Okay, we're going to start with the short side up. And this is a fun plane to fly outdoors, as you saw in the video earlier. We're going to fold this guy in half, kind of the book fold way, the hamburger bun style, not hot dog style. I don't know why we use that convention still. Okay, so we got the open end here. We're just going to bring this top edge right down to the center. Flip it over, do the same thing to this side. Top edge right down to the center. And it does, it always pays off to take your time on these initial folds. Everything's going to get reference to initial folds on a plane, so taking your time is always, that's wise. It's a good thing. All right, now we're going to do just what looks like a regular kind of a paper airplane move, the old school dart, the classic dart. It's going to fold that corner down. Flip it over, do the same thing to this side. And now we're going to do a couple of squash folds. We're going to do one on this side, one on the other side. So let's open this up. Just going to get this guy down this way. And I'm just putting this crease just on the top edge of this edge right here. And then I'm going to fold that behind. One squash fold done. We're going to flip it over to the other side. Squashing this down again, putting that crease just on the top edge, this edge right here, just to give me enough slack to fold it over like that. Okay, looking good. Now we're going to start opening the wings back up. We've shortened the paper a lot, so let's start widening it out. So I'm just folding from this point right here all the way up to the rear corner here. There's one side done. Put over to the other side. Okay, now we're getting ready to make that canard assemblage. So we're just tucking what's left over from that squash fold just underneath that layer of the squash fold there on both sides. You could do that earlier. I usually do it a little bit earlier. I don't know why I didn't remember to do that on this one. But no harm done. No harm, no foul. Okay. Tuck these guys in here so they stay put and out of the way. So let's tuck this guy in here. Now we're going to start making the canard design. Now that we've got this layer tucked in and that layer tucked in, we're just going to move this guy over, following this edge right here. Move this guy over all the way down to the bottom there. And then unfold, flip it over. Again, following this long edge here. And now we're going to do what's called an outside reverse fold. We're just going to open this up enough to let it pop that direction and then bring it all together. And we've got an outside reverse fold here. And then this is going to be where the little canard hangs down from the body of the plane. So to make that crease even with the center crease on the plane, I'm just going to carefully hold those layers together as I roll the wing over there. Same thing on this side. Hold those layers together as I roll the wing over there. That'll give me a nice crispy connection to the front of the plane. There we go. And now I can open up this, and we're just going to make a big squash fold here. There we go. That squashed. And so now we've got a squash fold here, and I'm going to open up these top layers here on the squash fold. Just pull the top layers up and bring this little point that was sticking down. I'm just going to bring that up to meet the top point. Looks like that when you're doing it. And these guys are going to get flipped over and tucked in, and that'll give me a nice kind of diamond shape canard design. And when I say tuck them in, I'm going to tuck them in right there. There. And right there. Nice little diamond shape going. Now you can let those corners drop down as we make our fuselage folds. And I'm just doing a little bit less than a thumb width here. I'll measure it in a second for you, but you don't have to worry about it too much. If you can kind of see this break happening right here, you're going to bring that just down to the center crease. And you just really want enough to create some stability. We don't want a really big, fat fuselage here, just enough to create some stability. Just making the other wing match here. And I promised I would measure that for you so you know how tall that fuselage is. So it ends up being, looks like 15 to 17 millimeters or so. Again, does not have to be exact. Just making kind of a skinny fuselage there. And we're going to make canards. Winglets. We've already made a canard. And I'm just going to touch the point of that right to this crease. There we go. On that side. And of course, make this side match. Perfect. All right. Now, when you're doing the final sort of tweaking on this, shaping of the plane once the folding is all done, I like to give this just a little tiny bit of curve right there. It helps hold the layers together, and it just looks kind of cool. I'm not sure that's going to help it fly that much, but that's kind of a good thing to do. And then you get these winglets standing straight up, and good to go. Yeah, crank in just a little bit of up elevator. Cool looking plane. Love the way this guy looks, and as you saw, it flies great.
Thank you so much to all of my patrons who are supporting this channel and making these videos possible. I'm now releasing a new tier where you can become the pilot of your favorite foldable flight paper airplane, and your name will appear next to the paper airplane you choose in each of my YouTube videos. So head over to patreon.com/foldableflight and join the foldable fleet today.